Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome into the Players Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Richmond, as always, and today we have Dan Sarmiento on the pod. Dan is a former college pitcher at Azusa Pacific University as a part of the ESPN creator class. Today, man, we really dive into his journey in baseball and content, what books he likes, everything. Just diving into his journey, and I really think y'all are really going to enjoy it. I know I did. I loved doing the interview. It was awesome. It was awesome getting to know him, and he really is a mentor to me. As always, y'all can like, share, subscribe. That would be huge to me. Tell your friends about the pod, give it a 5-star review, and let's jump into the interview. What's going on? Welcome into the pod, Dan Sarmentino.
What's up, bro? Yeah, so how we doing? My name is Dan. I go by @dsarm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm really trying to grow on YouTube too. So yeah, I've got a decent amount of followers just from my grinding over the last couple of years. Finally, kind of found my niche in commentary, storytelling, podcast stuff, but also just baseball content and just kind of telling stories about baseball players. So, we're nearing up almost at 100K on TikTok, which is amazing, bro. Oh, I'm going to be so excited when I hit it. Hopefully in the next couple of days. That's been a really tough milestone to get to because TikTok got hard. TikTok used to be super easy to gain followers, and now it's getting a little harder. But yeah, man. So, just making content. I love it. Like I said, I have a podcast called Enjoy the Show. I interviewed some really cool people. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep scaling, keep growing. Yeah.
Of course. So for the people that don't know, obviously you're a pitcher in college, just like myself. So give the people a little bit of your baseball background and, just where you're at now and, with the journey to get there.
Yeah. So, I guess it starts with, I'm from Exeter, New Hampshire. So I was kind of coming out of high school. I was a lefty pitcher. I was all right, 82 to 84. So again, just kind of local schools, local D2s, D3s, a couple smaller D1s. But nothing that really excited me. So for whatever reason, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I just wasn't messing. I just didn't love any of the options, I guess. And I wasn't sure why. Then I did a post-grad year at Bridgeton Academy, which is in Maine. And that kind of really helped open some doors to some other schools, some outside of New England schools. And I really kind of focused on Southern California. Ended up committing to Azusa Pacific, which is a D2 out here in Azusa, California, 30 minutes from LA. And then over the summer, content started taking off a little bit. So I was like, man, how am I going to balance, playing at a pretty high level school like D2, get really competitive in D2. So it was going to be tough. So eventually I haven't even announced this, but I don't even know what I would say, but I decided not to play baseball this year. And I actually transferred to LA film school. So I'm really trying to go that content media route, but I'm still training to pitch and training to throw. So I'm not really sure what my next year is going to look like, but I just know that I love making videos and I kind of want to just put all my time into making videos. Yeah, I guess I don't even know how I would announce that. I don't think enough people really care to announce it, but yeah, no, it was a tough decision. Because it was tough for my parents were like, oh man, we really want you to play, but it was kind of one of those things. I knew it was best for me. You know what I mean? I just knew that's the decision I needed to make. So I made it. But yeah, there I am.
Yeah, I think that's great. I know Stephen Canez is kind of doing the same thing. He's had an insane journey as well. I actually think I was at a junior college in Maine. And I think we actually played against you guys at Bridgeton.
Oh no, wait, what's it?
It was a Southern Maine Community College.
Dude, you went to SMCC?
Yeah.
When? Last year?
I went there. So I'm a senior now. So I went there my first semester of my freshman year.
That's crazy, bro. In Portland?
Yeah, in South Portland.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Memphis. So I've had a crazy journey.
Yeah, there was our rivals, bro. That's so funny. Yeah, that's cool. Wow.
So I like you attended prep school, but my journey was crazy. I went to boarding school, did a post-grad year in Florida, played 9 months down there, was supposed to go to a D3 school in Kentucky. The week before signing day, the head coach and the president both called me and they're like, hey, you didn't get in. I'm sorry. And I had signed and told all the schools I was talking to. I was talking to some NAIs, some D3s, because at this time I was a second baseman. I wasn't a pitcher. And so I was, really trying to just get an offer. I was just trying to play college baseball. but took a post grad year at Inspiration Academy in Florida.
Yeah.
Gained about 20 pounds just of straight weight. Just eating everything under the sun, literally like pub subs and every dude. Oh my God. I look back at myself. I'd sit on the couch and eat a Little Caesars pizza by myself. It was insane. But then a week before signing day, my teammate goes, who's from Boston. He's like, "Hey, I know the head coach at SMCC. Do you want to go there?" And I was like, "Oh, heck yeah." My dad and I spent $500 on a plane ticket, flew to Portland, go up there. I signed that Tuesday. And yeah, I spent the first semester of my freshman year there. So that was
That's
pretty
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all like waxed us. Like it was not
Yeah,
even.
dude. This year was funny. Like we went kind of back and forth. We'd beat them kind of in a close game, and then all of a sudden, I think one time they just beat us like 16-0 for some reason. Like
Yeah.
it was so
Yeah.
random. And then we beat them like 10-2. It was just it was weird. It just been
Yeah, I got you, dude. I mean, it's kind of funny because, like, when they pulled up, we were like, "Hey, bro, what is this?" Like, and I said, "Oh yeah, it's a prep school." Like, I knew about it because I did a post grad year. They were like, "Bro, what's a prep school?" I'm like, "Dude, some of these guys can play."
Some are good. Yes, some studs.
So how, like, when you're coming out of high school, how did that decision happen? Like, was it just like, okay, I need to get better? Or was it like, dude, I want to play college ball. Like, I need to figure something out? Or how'd that go?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess my thought process then was like I wanted to play college baseball. And then I wasn't sure where. I still thought I had a lot more in the tank, like just velocity wise, and just like I just thought I was coming off an injury, so like I just thought there was more that I could have gotten something maybe a little better, a little different. Like I think I could have gotten more like variance in my offers aside from just New England. So I was just like figuring out what that like how that would happen. So at a high school, like there's like a ton of really good prep schools in New England. So I kind of had the luxury of like Phillips Exeter's in the same town as me, Phillips Andover, Bridgeton were like the four that I applied to, and then Bridgeton's kind of what I landed on, just because I love Coach Isaac. He's like the best coach I've ever had. And yeah, they're just like it was just a fun. Bridgeton was a fun time. It was a grind, but like. I didn't want to go. I wasn't ready to go like to like Florida or like out of New England for prep school, but I wanted to for college. You know what I mean? So
of course,
Azusa. But yeah.
Did you have TJ?
No, I tore my rotator cuff.
Oh,
yeah, brutal.
Dang, yeah. So like it's kind of funny because you talk about going through an injury and stuff. At that time in prep school, were you just like, man, dude, like I don't know if I'm gonna play, or were you like, no, like I think I can rehab and get back to it?
Yeah, so I tore my rotator cuff, I think, before my senior season of high school. So that whole season was a shit show because like I was still like kind of recovering from my shoulder injury and like my mechanics were garbage. And I was just like stressing because I really wanted to commit to a school, but it just like I was throwing like 79. I'm like, I feel like I should be throwing harder, but it's just because my arm just wasn't ready to throw hard. Like my body just was still kind of protecting itself. So that summer, I kind of finally got back up to like 84, 85, just from like, mechanics, stuff like that, just getting like back in throwing shape. And yeah, so that's kind of where I was at like senior season. Then going into Bridgeton, I was kind of just like pretty much back to 100%. Like I felt good. I was actually the lightest I'd ever been. I was probably like 170, but I just felt really good at Bridgeton. And I just was like, my arm felt good. So I could just grinded that whole off season.
So did you ever like think about like changing your arm slot or, maybe switching up mechanics? I know for some guys that works.
Yeah, my arm slot, I think, naturally got a little lower because at first I was like up here trying to protect myself. Like my trap would kind of get involved. And then eventually, once I started like getting a little more low 3/4 and just like what felt more natural to me, I just started feeling more whippy and getting like cleaner layback and less, elbow shoulder pain. I think lowering it back to what it should have been, like what my natural arm slot, that helped a lot because I think it kind of just got me on time and felt healthier,
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm a submarine guy, so
Okay.
I kind of understand that. My whole journey is on the pod. Like, I literally took 2 hours in a hotel room in Texas this summer and just recorded it. Next thing on the agenda is like baseball content. Like obviously, like you're popping. Like you're not just some small influencer. Like I have people on the street coming up to me and saying, "Bro, did you see Dan's new TikTok? Like how did that happen? Why did you do it? And like what made you want to get into that space? Because that's a difficult space to break into."
Yeah, it wasn't like I don't know. I've always wanted to make content. I've always like kind of wanted to be like a YouTuber, and like I kind of idolized all those people I'd watched growing up, like Casey Neistat and those kind of guys who would document their lives. And like with TikTok and like with COVID happening, I just kind of needed something to like kind of dive headfirst into, and I just started diving headfirst into baseball content because I was like my road to 90. That was like what I was doing in my life, so I was like, oh, let me just document it too and make it content out of it. And it kind of took a while just for me to gain any sort of traction. Like I mean, dude, I just like posted every day. Like I was really committed to it. Like I just decided like I don't really care what people think. Like I'm just gonna make what I want to make. And I think going into senior year of high school, I probably had maybe I don't even know maybe 1,000 followers on Instagram, like just from posting bullpens and stuff like that. And then I just took a big break once I graduated high school because I just got tired of it. I was kind of bored. I just wasn't like a good place mentally, so I was just stressing. Like I was off social media. And then once I got back, I had to back to or not back to. Once I got to Bridgeton, I was like, let me just go all in. I'm just gonna go all in. Fuck it. Like let's just do it. And then I went from like creeping up a little bit, like 1,500 followers in the fall, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, just creeping up. I think in like January, I was at like 4,000 or 5,000 on Instagram. And then from like March to now, I went from like 4,000 to like 31,000 on Instagram, which is super cool. And that just came from like podcast content started growing a little bit, which helped all my content start growing. I just got super consistent, got better at editing. YouTube has gone from like, I don't know, I think 3,000 to like 19,000. TikTok like 25K to like 100K. So it's like been like a pretty big growth. I'm not some crazy big influencer, but like in a short time span it grew a lot, which is awesome. So it tells me I'm doing something right. So I just need to like kind of like double down on it to grow even more. But it took a while for me to kind of break through to like get like consistent followers and like traction, but it's kind of obsession, and I got to it. I get to a good point now where it's like it's easier to get from like 30K to 40K than it is like 0 to 1K, like for sure.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. I mean, even in my short span of being a marketing intern and we're working with clients and things like that, their number one question is always, how do I get the most growth? How do I get the most content interactions? How do I get this? How do I get that? And it's a lot more than people think. Like a lot of people think like, oh, it's just setting up a tripod and recording. No, there's a bunch of editing, there's a bunch of lighting, there's a bunch of different angles, and it's so complex that when people actually start to do it, they're like, oh my gosh, it's actually tougher than I thought.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, and especially it depends on the content and the genre you're working with. But like me, like I kind of pride myself in my editing. Like I just love to sit down and spend an hour of just like editing, and it's hard to kind of break through on TikTok. Or Instagram and reels and stuff like that, unless you have something that sticks out. So like, I think my storytelling and all that stuff is good, but I think if I can really hook someone and like have good editing consistently, I think that kind of helps me stand out. But yeah.
Now, did you have any pushback from your teammates at Bridgeton or high school or maybe at Azuna?
Yeah. I guess high school was different. Like, high school was weird because it was still like COVID. It was like 2021. So like COVID was still weird. And I stopped. I just like literally just stopped making videos once the high school season started. I was kind of just in my head about it. Like I kind of let like my insecurities kind of get the best of me about making content and stuff. But then eventually I bridged and same thing. I just kind of said, fuck it. Like people are going to say what they're going to say. I remember like kids would talk shit a little bit like on comments and stuff like that. But that never really got to me because it's just like, bro, that's like weird. Like I don't have time to leave hate comments on people's posts like that.
Of course.
Like that's just a weird look for someone to just go on someone's thing and shit on them. It obviously means they got something else going on like in their kind of personal life. So like I don't even like it's not even worth it to give them the time of day. And I honestly just feel bad for people if like you gotta kind of release anger on other random people on social media. So like yeah, nowadays I mean Azusa was a little weird because I was on campus there and like. I kind of hear like, backhanded compliments type thing. Like, oh, I see your little TikTok page and like, from my coaches and stuff. And I already decided I wasn't playing baseball at that point. So like, they kind of knew where my head was at. And I'm just like, yeah, like, that's like, I see a future in this that like no one else really sees. So I can't listen to these people's opinions because they just don't matter. Like, and not even like they don't matter way. It's just like, no, they just like don't see like they're not in the world that I'm in. So like they're literally living a different they have a different perspective on things. So like I'm not gonna, kind of on social media, like I'm just not gonna take their, because no one spends more time on social media and like editing and stuff than I do. So it just wasn't really worth it. But with that said, like, sometimes criticism has like truth to it. Like sometimes like a comment will be kind of like, ow, it'll like hurt a little bit, but it might be like, oh, he's kind of right in like an asshole way. Like, if I'm like talking too fast because I talk really fast, like someone might say like, slow down, you're talking fast. And at first I'm like, fuck you. And then the second I'm like, no, yeah, I am kind of talking pretty fast. Like they have a value, like, so they might be assholes, but they might actually, provide value too. So that's how you can kind of take the good with the bad from those.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are thoroughly enjoying this episode with Dan. I just want to give a quick shout out to the good people over there at Stadium Custom Kicks. You guys hit the link in the description and you guys use code C Richmond, that's CRICHMOND at checkout. You'll be able to get free shipping on all your orders. And now let's get back in the episode. Like, did coaches ever like look at it and be like, hey, look, like we saw your Instagram reel or we saw your TikTok, like do you care to explain that? Like, did any coaches ask you on visits?
Yeah, no, I never really had any. No, I think the closest I got to to a coach saying anything about it, I remember like I was getting recruited by Stonehill, which is like a small D1 in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. I remember the coach followed me on my Instagram, but that was back when I was more like training and like mechanical and like doing my pull downs and stuff like that. So that was more just like tracking my progress and building like my following from like training progress. But yeah, since then, no, like I never really had any coaches say anything. Yeah, not which is good. Like it's less of a distraction.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I just wanted to hop on here and to tell y'all that you can follow me on IG at Chris Richmond _. That is CHRISRICHMOND _. And y'all can follow the pod at the Players Podcast. That is the Players _ podcast. If y'all could like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, I will include all of these social links in the description so you guys can follow us. You guys can check out all the content that we're creating, and y'all can follow along on the journey. Thanks, y'all. I know that you're teaming up with what's his name, Dean Jackson,
Sure.
And my boy Aiden.
Yep,
Aiden McIntyre. Can you just speak on that and just really just talk about, what you're doing and the content that y'all are putting out?
Yeah, dude. So it's really cool. I remember I hit up Dean a few months ago because I had this idea to kind of bring back Road to 90, but just kind of maximize my like potential in this off season as I'm like not playing baseball anymore, like competitively, like on a team. I was like, man, I could really maximize my training and then make content out of it, throw live ABs and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, slowly ramping up because I hadn't really thrown in like a month and a half. So I'm like slowly ramping up, getting some elbow soreness here and there. So like backing up a little bit because I have no like time frame that I have to be ready by. So we're really taking it slow, making sure my body's ready to get back into shape and, light lifts and stuff like that. But yeah, Dean, I just wanted to go all in. Like I wanted to train and maximize my potential. And I'm lucky enough that I've like gotten to a point where like I don't have to like pay for Driveline because like my promotion of them is like valuable to them too because it's like I'm putting, it's like I can make content out of it and it shows like their training is working and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Aiden McIntyre is my homie. I've known Aiden for a bit because he's one of the guys who's the content guy. So I've always looked at his stuff and it's cool to see him doing it at the pro level. But yeah, Dean, I've known of him for a while. Finally got to go to Scottsdale and talk to him. I'm super excited for this process. Like I said, I'm taking it slow. I don't know if I'll be max effort in a month or 4 months. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of just supplementing it with my content and stuff like that, just to really be at 100%. Because like, admittedly, it's like it's not my priority. Like I'm kind of busy, and also like it's just been a lot of changes in the last month. So like I don't want to commit to something all in until like I'm ready to go all in with it. I don't want to commit and then have to back out. So I'm being very careful about like ramping up too fast and then like having to keep up with my throwing. So I'm trying my best, but yeah, like I'm excited for the content. I want to throw live ABs. I love throwing live. I want to hit 90. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
Speaking of live ABs, you kind of struck out Eric Sim, which is been in there, dude.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. He also took me.
No big deal. No big deal. He played pro ball with the Giants. No big deal.
Yeah, that was fun, dude.
He's probably gonna roast me for that.
No, he hit a home run off me too, though. So we're even, I guess.
Oh my god! But
Mhm.
yeah, what else? What else is there? So, what advice do you have for people who want to get into the content game and want to be where you're at?
Yeah, I'd say my best piece of advice is just kind of like dive head first into it and like put yourself in a position to like fail. Like put yourself in a position to be like this video sucks. I got to make a better one. Like just like kind of start learning like what makes a good video and like what do you want to talk about? What are your interests? Like for me, like I'm really passionate about baseball and commentary and podcasts, and so I kind of just wrap that all into one and like learn from people who do stuff bigger than I do. So I just want to like kind of mimic like, okay, Logan Paul does this. So I'm like, I'm going to try to do that, but put my own spin on it in baseball and do this and that, stuff like that, where, there's kind of a model set out where it's like, the Mr. Beast thing where it's like a lot of people are trying to follow him, where it's like these big sensational videos. And like, I think there's a way to do that in baseball where it's like, I did live ABs for $1,000, stuff like that, where it's like everyone wants to watch that, even if they're not baseball fans. So I'm trying to like use that like knowledge and kind of apply it to my own stuff. So like if I have any piece of advice, I'd say just like be consistent and just like keep putting stuff out every single day and learning from people who are, better than you, which is what I try to do.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest people I've seen do that is Pasco. Pasco is really, 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 really ramped it up. And it's funny because my buddy Noah, shout out to Noah, he just had a kid actually. He played with both Aiden and Mike. Played with both of them. He played in the A's organization with Aiden, and Noah was actually his roommate.
Really?
Yeah. So it was funny because I was in Texas with him, not this summer, but last summer, and we were hitting it, whatever. Said, hey, dude, like, check out this guy. He's throwing gas. Like, he plays for the A's. And he's like, oh, yeah, I roomed with him. And I was like, oh, really? And then it was Aiden, and I was like, oh, my gosh. But so I know you talked about, like, your inspirations and things like that. Do you have any other aspirations outside of baseball that inspire you as far as content goes?
Yeah, I've always been I love J. Cole. I'm a huge J. Cole guy. I'm actually wearing a shirt right now. Like, I love kind of people who had like a vision and like executed the struggle it took to get to where they wanted to be. Like they had something so like clear in their head, like I want to do this, and it's going to take a long way to get there, but they did it like through just constant iteration and like just making little progress day by day. So J. Cole, kind of like his story, I kind of try to keep with me, is like he came from like a small town, not a lot of money, whatever, went to New York, grinded, finally got signed to Jay-Z's record label, grind, whatever, ended up becoming one of the biggest artists of all time. So and there's obviously way more to it than that, but his kind of model is like he wanted to be the biggest rapper ever, the biggest artist ever. And, since 17, 18 years old, he worked every single day to do that. So that's pretty inspiring to me, just as like a human being who wants to accomplish something. Like I can kind of relate to that. And that's kind of the energy I try to bring every day. Just like, I'm trying to go hard every single day and get closer. Yeah.
Now I know you brought up books before. I don't really remember the title of the book that you talked about the other day, but do you have any other books that you're reading right now?
Oh yeah, I did like a top 5 books. Like that was like a video. I was like, I know this isn't going to do well, but I think it might help a few people who just like want to get into books. Because I was like, I always wanted to know like what other people were reading. Because I'm not like a huge book guy, but like I've dabbled a little bit. I can like phases where I'll read books. But I think my best book, the number 1 book I said in that list. Oh man, what was it? I think number 5 was Shoe Dog, which is Phil Knight's like memoir, which is super cool. What was number 1? It must. Oh, Ego is the Enemy. And Ego is the Enemy, I think, was my number 1, which is like Ryan Holiday. Actually, I have it written down. Let me bring out the list real quick. I actually had it written down in this journal. I had like a top 5 list for that video. Here it is. Number 1. Oh, number 1 was Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Best book I've ever read. Audiobook is fire. Ego is the Enemy is number 2. Man's Search for Meaning is number 3, which is a really good like psychology one. Atomic Habits was 4, and then Shoe Dog was 5. So those are all like kind of classics. Those are all ones that are popular, but I think they're really good.
Yeah, because I'm reading Barry Zito's memoir right now. It's Curveball, and that oh my gosh, that book. It's funny because like you see, I watched him play in the big leagues when I was like 5, and like I just thought like, oh, okay, he's this godlike figure or whatever. But like, bro transferred to like 4 colleges,
Did he
five
really?
colleges,
That's sick. Yeah.
and like I think he went to UCSB, Pierce, USC, and then like got drafted.
Wow.
And it was like, and his dad was a talent manager. His dad was like, yeah, dude, you have to read it. You can get it at Barnes and Noble.
Cool. I've always known Barry Zito, but I never thought about his story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. But to wrap it up here, plug your socials, tell everybody about what the heck you got going on, and we'll get you out of here, man.
Yeah, bro, appreciate you. I mean, first of all, I just want to say, keep doing your thing, bro, because I've been, we've been kind of mutuals for a little while, like talking to each other and stuff in DM. So I see you're doing your thing, bro. Keep it up. I love that stuff. Like, any questions you got, always hit me up. Like, I'm around. You got my email, you got my DM, whatever. Like, I'm always around. I love answering questions about content.
Thank you.
Like, yeah, so hit me up whenever you need anything, or if you need anything, I got you. Because it's like so there's not many of us trying to make content in baseball, and I think it's important for the sport. So, yeah, but for me, yeah, I mean, follow me at DSarm TikTok, DSarm on YouTube, almost at 20K, Pocket Radar giveaway at 20K. That's been my thing for like a month or something, almost actually there, which is crazy. And I already got that lined up. So like Pocket Radar is like ready to go on it. So I just got to get that going once I hit 20K. But so yeah, that's a reason.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. And then I just got invited to the ESPN creator class for baseball, which is super cool. So I'll be making some content with ESPN. Yeah, I think I'm going to be at the World Series. I'll be at one of the games in the World Series, hopefully Houston, but maybe in Philly, making content there for ESPN, which is fucking crazy. So yeah, I'm very excited, man. Working hard.
Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Chris here. I just wanted to say thank you all for tuning in today. I was lucky enough to interview Dan, and as you guys heard, we were able to talk about a multitude of topics. Y'all go check him out. I will definitely include his socials in the description along with mine, as I mentioned earlier in the interview. But yeah, if you guys could go check out all his stuff, I'll include that down in the description below, as well as mine. And I hope to see y'all on the next episode of the Players Podcast. Peace.